Today, I want us as Africans to have an honest conversation. A conversation about our education system, our priorities, and our future. We have been immersed in Western education for decades. An education system designed to meet the needs of the Western world. A world that is already developed, but where has it left us as Africans? We spend years in school studying theories and concepts that often have little relevance to our daily lives, while we sit in classrooms memorizing Western history, solving equations, and learning foreign languages. We fail to ask ourselves, how does this help us solve Africa's problems? Our continent faces challenges that are unique to us: poverty, unemployment, food insecurity, and lack of infrastructure. Yet our education system is not tailored to address these issues. Instead, it prepares us to fit into systems that were never designed with us in mind. We spend years, sometimes decades in school, only to graduate into a world that does not, in fact, have enough opportunities for us. And then we complain about the West. But the truth is, we are busy copying their ways instead of creating our own solutions. It is time to change our mindset. It is time to rethink education in Africa. Let us reduce the number of years our children spend in schools memorizing facts and start nurturing their talents, creativity, and problem-solving skills from an early age. Let us teach them agriculture so they can feed our nations. Let us teach them technology so they can innovate solutions for our communities. Let us teach them entrepreneurship so they can create jobs, not just look for them. Imagine an Africa where education is practical, where our children graduate not just with certificates, but with skills to solve real-world problems. Imagine an Africa where our youth are empowered to build, create, and lead. That Africa is possible, but it starts with us. As parents, teachers, and leaders, we must take responsibility. Let's stop relying solely on outdated systems and start designing education that fits our context. The system, when I say context, I think we understand it. Let's embrace our culture, our resources, and our unique strengths. Students discussing ideas, working on projects, and collaboration. That is how it is supposed to be. Let us teach our children to think critically, to innovate, and to believe in themselves. Let's show them that they don't need to look to the West for answers. They can find solutions right here in Africa. Together, we can transform our education system if we work hard and then if we work together. Because our problems are far away different from those ones of the West. Now, education should go beyond naming it. Should be about doing, creating, and understanding. Let's teach our learners how to plant trees, harvest their fruits, and use them to create a sustainable future. Let's teach them about conservation, the role of trees in fighting climate change, and how they can contribute to their, in fact, communities. So our education, if it changes, then we can be somewhere. At least it will be a greater chance for us to do what we need as Africans. Because let us talk about what we teach our learners. In fact, let me give that example. In schools, we spend a lot of time teaching students how to name parts of a tree. They can learn about the apex, I can call it the petal, the lamina, and every tiny detail of a leaf. But here is the question: is knowing what an apex is really important for their future? Will it help them solve real-world problems really, or build meaningful lives? We are teaching them to name the tree, but are we teaching them to understand the value of the tree? Because when you go to school, is what I'm talking about. If someone can argue, you'll tell me, but we always teach learners the tree, then we know the tree, what is the value of the tree. But now at the time you are using to study the apex, will it be very important really? Will it help you as a person really? It is not important. That is what I believe in. It isn't important. And then let's take a closer look at our professional education, starting with now doctors. When someone qualifies as a doctor, what do they truly know? Many leave medical schools knowing how to prescribe Panadol or take a patient's temperature. Few graduate with the skill to handle complex medical procedures or to innovate solutions for the challenges in our healthcare system. Now, as a result, many of our doctors become what we might call Panadol distributors. In hospitals, you go there, you are very sick, someone just gives you Panadol, someone takes your temperature. But is it meaningful for you, a doctor, to just give that? Rather than true medical professionals, they treat symptoms, not the root cause of illness, and rely heavily on routine practices rather than specialized knowledge or innovative approach. So that is not important for us as Africans. We need more than that. I don't believe in that. And besides, when we take learners to school, when I'm talking about education as Africans, when we take learners to schools, we always believe much in the Western life. Children go to school, they want to bring their life of the West here to Africa, whereby we are very far away beyond. In fact, those whites are far away. We are working for our grandchildren. The whites, they have already worked for them. Their countries are already developed. When you look at, I will not mention them, but the Western world, those countries are already developed. Their education system cannot match with ours. Ours here, thousands are studying in classes, but jobs are not there because we are not utilizing the available resources which are there. Yet these resources, we must change the way our system of education is. If we are taking children to school, why don't we know what we need, sincerely speaking? We have to exploit these resources. These resources does not need going to school. This 90% that we get in papers in school is 0% of our future. It doesn't coordinate with our future anywhere. It doesn't coordinate with our future. I'm really not happy with our education system as in Africa. I will not mention my country because Africa, we are almost equal, just the same. I will not say maybe my country. After school, our parents pay a lot of money in schools just to come out. We also start paying for hours. So the process repeats. Money is wasted from school. We do a lot of nothing after schools. We also just continue paying the school fees for our children. So the process just repeats like that. It does not show much sense for sure. So I believe we are supposed to think we come up with what is very important for us as Africans. We don't depend on the whites who are already working for that education can favor them because for them they have worked for them. So even if they study, they are studying to keep resources. But for us, these issues of cramming things as if we already have things made in Africa. We must accept that we are not so far. We are below the limits. We have to first work, put resources, then start nurturing learners according to the resources which are. But we don't have roads. Our problems are different. Poverty, we are hustling with poverty. Food, someone even sells his land that is taking a child to school. Yet there is another way of we can get this education. The education, in fact, must remain in the kindergarten, then this small primary. For 7 years, then a child does what is very important. If a doctor, someone is going to become a doctor, start straight away nurturing that child how to become a doctor, not a Panadol distributor. That one we shall not go far as people. Then after school, remember the education system prepares us to be, in fact, job seekers. Now, job seekers, you go for a job after finishing school, looking for the job, you are 1,000. Jobs which are there, maybe they are like 20, they are 10, or at times even 1. Now, and after school, then someone even tells you that you be a job creator. When the system itself makes you to be a job seeker. How will I be a job creator when I was taught at school to be a job seeker? I must get a job after finishing school. These things of now saying that now after maybe you have finished some 20 years in school, then coming out, the time you would have used maybe in farming, you again become, they tell you to be a job creator. So that advice, me, I don't believe in it. The only way is our countries as Africans, let's try to think. We have to think. This is a point. I think I'm even very clear. I'm very clear. Let's try to think together, because we can change this education system. First of all, what even annoys me, the policymakers in most cases, these are people who have never even stepped to classes, but they are the ones who are creating policies to our children. The students in the classes. This is a curriculum. They change the curriculum. They do what in their own way. They don't understand the truth. Someone goes to class and does 10 subjects because the policymakers have brought it, and for them they don't know the real problems. As long as they get their salaries, their policies are just done just like that. Someone cannot think 10 subjects I'm giving a runner. What's the importance of the 10 subjects? Sincerely speaking, in a school, 10 subjects. Can't we sit and think? This education system which is there currently in Africa, in most of the African countries, was there those days when the population was still very less. The population was still low, too low. But with this population, we need to completely change this education system and move on with what is right for us. A few are the ones who are trying to survive, but when we come on the ground, real ground, me who is talking personally, I know what is on the ground, sincerely speaking. Anyone who is speaking this message, let's move together. Whether it will be in my country, first of all, to change this education system, I suggest this education system should change. It should change immediately. If we don't change this education system, we are finished as Africans. We shall still continue complaining about the whites. Those people have gone, they are there, they just come here to wander now. But we need to change the education system such that it can favor all of us, not a few who are known that these are the children of this, then they have to get employment. They're not about this one too. We are equal. We are all, God created us as one person. We are just equal. If others are enjoying and others are not enjoying, and the issue is about education. You see, education, it has, instead of helping Africa, it has in fact almost done more worse. Though it has done its part, but it has gone beyond. It has done a smaller part in helping, but to a larger extent, not so much. We have to change. It is still too early. I've made this in 2025. So anyone who has received this video, let's try to share it together. Then we can try to change the education system of our country. But I've not talked to this one to just make maybe content or do anything. But I'm not happy with the education system because I've experienced a lot. When I move in most places or most areas, I will not mention the countries, but at least I've tried to move. But this education system has affected many. All African countries are limping, they are crying, all the African countries, because of the education systems, and of which we cannot blame anyone, but we have to start now. So in my like as students are 20% of our population, that is what we know, but they are 100% of our future. That is what we should know. They contribute a lot. Once children are nurtured very well from childhood, before they become old, they will do what parents cannot do. So let's try to think so much beyond the levels. Africans, our education system must completely change, not just remain like the way it is. If it remains like this, then we shall keep wasting time. We shall keep talking throughout, but nothing will generally change. So my prayer is we change the education system. Then I think to conclude with, we have systems. In fact, let me say the system itself cannot promote thinking. So this system which cannot promote thinking, it just promotes remembering. And now what are we going to remember? Remembering just what you learned. How will it solve these problems which are there? So on this channel, we are going to be discussing that. I'll be reaching many. We talk about the education system and what we can do as Africans problems are with the people, and the people are the ones who are supposed to discuss this. So together we shall change the education system, not by policymakers who are making the policies in all the African countries, making just policies, but not consulting the ground, because at least people who are on the ground, even people who have not gone to schools, they also know what is supposed to be done. But only that parents are taken by fear that when I don't take my child to school, maybe nothing will happen, what. Me, I'm not campaigning about school, but schooling is good, but not in the one which is in Africa now. It is too much. It is now beyond. We need to wake up and change this system completely of education. We have to change it. We come and sit down. We first leave the Western system which was brought, which was put on us, not favoring us. It used to help our grandparents, those ones of long ago, but as per now, we have to change it completely. Then we shall know what to do once we change our system, and once we move with our system well, the way it is supposed to be. So my name is Macheme. I'm from Uganda. I also am a teacher by profession, by the way, but I'm on this because I've already seen what is happening in Africa as a whole. I will not talk about Uganda because we are all equal in Africa. Generally, what is affecting Uganda is also affecting these other countries. So let's try to change the education system together. Then we can move at least forward together as a whole, not just one person or two people. We have to grow together as Africans. Thank you very much for listening to me. At least I'll be bringing in more, as I'll be moving around to consult or to discuss much about other African people or my fellow Africans. Thank you very much.